Okay, I just want to go over a few things that I found today that I'm looking at the way these sheets are navigated, and when I'm not around, it's something that I've just picked up, and I think a few people might be doing this wrong when it comes to adjusting runners and adjusting prices on certain runners, and how many units you're meant to be putting onto them whenever you do drop a runner. It's just something that was brought to my attention today with my programmer. So I just want to quickly go over it. Okay, and I'll go over a few sheets today because I want to discuss why I pass on meetings, because I think that's the biggest one with everybody getting confused about, and why and when not to do it. All right, one of the things that I will say is don't beat yourselves up. You don't know because you don't have the data that I've got, and that's not being a smart aleck. It's just, so don't try to sit there and go, oh, how does he know when to pass? I just know when to pass because I look at numbers all day. That's what I do. I look at numbers, and when I see numbers are so tight, I just go avoid the meeting. Okay, so just with race one, we got that late, so we didn't get it late. To be honest, I made a comment about a certain runner couldn't get beat in number two, and I didn't want to take it on, and I had it as a sub runner, but eventually, it did get beaten, so I didn't want to bet in the race. So that's why I sent it through pretty late. Now we quickly go to race two, and we had a decent fill up with this particular race. Now what happened here, and I just want to make sure that everybody's on the right page with me. Okay, so then there's no confuse. Everyone doesn't understand how I do it, but I'll go over it now. In race two, we had number three was the sub runner. It was never going to get included because of the price. But then we had the five, which obviously we got price. We had the 8, which 660. Okay, now the 8 never touched 660. It never even remotely hit it. All right, 550 the tops. That's the price that forget about the end. So that was the first runner that was going to be dropped. Okay, when I look at the prices on this thing, I just think to myself, all right, at what point do I need to drop it? Well, if I got a horse rated at 660, okay, we're not going to be taking any less than 550. That's it. I mean, that pot was 158%, but you could keep dropping. You can keep going down to 450, but we don't want to be doing that, right? Because it's a bad habit to get into. You got a horse rated at 660, 550 maximum you take off. All right. Now we had the 9, okay, and we had the 11. Now, with number 11, okay, it was rated at 844, but have a look at this, okay? There was $8, okay, with 5 minutes to go. There was $8, 5 minutes to go. Across the board, there was actually even 850 all the way across. Now, when you're looking at the two runners, you're going, which one do I drop? Well, you do two things here. You be really super conservative and go, well, you know what? I'm not going to drop any runner here. Or you do what you should be doing. All right. Now, you got a horse rated at 844 and you can get $8. You're taking the $8. As a matter of fact, you're taking the 750. But that was just that number 6, 8 was just too low to be. You couldn't start taking. I mean, look at the prices. We're talking. Look at this. I don't know if it's going to come up, but there was. At what point was that? There was $5.50, $5. All I could see with this thing was $4.70s, $4.80s, $5. That's it across the board. It never really came near the $6. $5.50, $6 I would have accepted, no problem. But it didn't. That didn't happen. So then what we do in that situation is we say, right, okay, which one are we dropping? Well, that's the tough call. That's where everybody's probably going to get wrong. And if in doubt, pull out. You can pull out on both of the runners and pull out on the race. I happened to drop the 8, because I couldn't get near that 660. The best I can get, honestly, was $5. All right, but as the 11, there was $8, $8.50. The prices was there 3 or 4 minutes out. Like I said, forget about what you're seeing down here. That's the end. Okay, you got to look at 3 or 4 minutes to go, and as you can see, with 5 minutes to go, this thing was $8.50, $8 all the way across the board. This thing here, there is no way this thing ever hit more. Look at this. Look at that. $4.60, $4.60, $5, $5. It's not right. Look at this. $4.80, $4.85 for, it's just too much. So you need to go to yourself, which one am I dropping? I dropped the one with the, obviously, I got a horse rate at $6.60. It's now $4.85. You drop it. Okay? As I said, or you could have just said to yourself, both runners not matched, bin it. There was a decent pot. All right, and you remember we took on number 3. So that was another thing that you had to take into consideration. All right, so that was a nice fill up. But this is the one that's been brought to my attention. This is the one that I think everybody's getting confused about. All right, we've got another race here. All right, we've got the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 9. Forget about the 10. All right, it was an emergency runner. What we wanted, $5.80. It didn't even remotely hit price. Okay, so there was $4 for this thing. There was $3.90, $4 across the board. Okay, that's what I saw. Look, there's $3.90, $4. Look at this, $4, $4. Now that's not the problem. We could accept 50s. What everybody would have done, okay, and this is where everybody's making the mistake. If you're dropping this by 50 cents, which is you're entitled to drop it by 50 cents, okay, then if you go into your calculator and you put in 1.1 units, well, then that pot's going to be 56%. It's wrong. You've got to adjust the price to the pot. So the reality is that bet should have been a 1.25 units. That is why so many of you guys are getting mixed units on how many units I actually, because you see, I have a calculator in my system, and it automatically calculates if I drop a runner. Okay, so we might have to adjust the calculations in that. When you drop a runner on price, you have to also factor in the units that you're putting in. Because when I navigate, if I was navigating this particular race, okay, you wouldn't have even looked at it. You just would have thought, 1.25. Because that's how many units should have gone onto that runner. Now, back in that thing at $4, and every other runner had been matched, you're still on 68%. But if you'd punched in 1.1 units at $4, you're going to get a pot of 55%, which meant most of you probably would have passed. Wrong. Think that I'm navigating. I didn't navigate because I've had so many things going on today. But if you're dropping a horse by 50 cents, you got to adjust the units. You got to also put the units according to that bet. Of course you do. It's an automatic thing that I do when I'm navigating. Hence why when I navigate, you'll get a different units message coming out to you with more units on it, because I've obviously dropped the price. And I think that's something that probably is throwing people out. All right, this only happens, okay, when we've got a situation like this. Like if this thing had been $3.50, it was going to be dropped. End of discussion. But 50 cents, it was actually $4.40 with a lot of bookmakers 5 minutes out. So technically speaking, it actually did hit price. Like Best bookies had it at 4.30, 4.30, 4.60. That thing hit 4.60 with best bookies with 2 minutes to go. So that's what I mean. That's why I say you got to have everything in front of you so you could see what's going on. 365 had it at 4.20. So there would be no reason why anyone didn't take that runner at those prices. All right. I mean, look at that Top Sports at 4.20 with 3 minutes to go. Lads had it at $4. You're looking across the board here. So there were some bookies that actually had it. I would have accepted $3.90, and this is where your calculator needs to come in. All right, I think we might have to do something about fixing that. But as I said, I can't always navigate. It's near enough impossible to navigate all day, every day. It's just too difficult. All right, so, and one of the reasons why I can't navigate is I need everybody to understand how to do this on their own. See that, and that was a good scenario then where even if you've taken $4 at 1.10 units, it's not the worst case scenario, but you have to adjust your pot, your units according to the price that you've accepted to take. Okay, and that's why probably if anyone was betting on this particular race, they probably would have passed when they shouldn't have passed on the race. So I think it's a grey area that we might have to address on our end to make sure everybody knows we're on the same page. Okay, so look, that's an important thing that I need everybody to understand. If you've got a high pot and you're dropping runners by 50 cents, 60 cents. Adjust the units according to that price. You know, as the same way I do it when I navigate. It's the exact same way. We'll go to quickly race 4. Race 4, we got a really, really good winner. But the question was raised by a few people, even, you know, why did you pass on, say, race, I think it was race 5. No, it wasn't race 5. Race 6, I passed because I saw things in the market that I didn't like. It was just messy, and I thought the race was difficult, and I was watching the markets because I'm always lurking in the background doing work. And when I see things in the markets that I don't like, I'll always just go, you know what, pass on the race. And we were spot on with passing. It was a shame in race 7 with the Cup. You know, we had all the runners on top, but I don't have any data. So if I don't have the data on, they're unknown runners. Now in race 8, it was obviously a bet race, and then in race 9, why I passed, okay, was several reasons. We were taking on 3 runners, and I was watching the markets from about probably about half an hour out. I was watching the markets, and I saw things that I don't like this number 11 and this number 12. There was so much money coming in for them, and the money was coming in early. This is the thing, guys, that everybody needs to understand. I've got tools in my database. I'm tracking all the money. I'm tracking most of the corporate money. I'm tracking Betfair. I'm tracking the traders. I've got an inbuilt tracker in my database, and I see things that no one else is seeing. Okay? Don't ask me how I got it, but we've got it. Okay? And, you know, I'm sharing information with everybody because I'm trying to make sure that we're all trying to win. So when I pass, again, I don't pass for no reason. There's always a reason why I pass. You know, and we get it right and we get it wrong. And today I think we got it right. We had a fairly decent day at Geelong, but I think we need to address these things when we drop runners on price, and we got to adjust the units. Okay? Thanks, guys.